Welcome to the Put Up, everybody. I'm A.K.A. the Wizard, and this is where the untold stories are heard. I think it's like episode 10 of 14 of total and like 10 or 11 of 2025 now. Each week, we bring in a different artist and we literally put them up. We tell their whole story from beginning to end. And this week, we have Waves the Rapper joining us. Welcome, bro. What's going on?
Bro.
How's it going, man? Like, how's the week been?
It's been just working, working, trying to keep the kids quiet in the other room.
Actually, you know what? I always have that problem when we're doing these. I have like the kids usually out there like playing games right beside me, and sometimes I have to like knock on the door. I just like run off camera real quick, you know.
How many kids you got?
I got 4 kids,
I
ranging
got
from
five.
like 8 years old or 9 years old up to like 15 right now. So
Yeah, I've got five. 18, 13,
wow.
twin 4-year-olds, and a baby. He's one.
Oh my gosh, you got your hands full. Wow.
Yeah, I gotta work on my pull-out game. It's not.
Well, I mean, we can't have any more kids here. We got
No.
that ended. That's over with now.
So,
But yeah, you know what? Kids are a blessing,
yeah,
regardless. You know what I mean?
yeah, I
It's
love.
been the craziest time of my life, but also the best time. You know.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's been crazy week over this side too, man. I told you about the stuff with the job and stuff, and I'm still waiting for that NPC to show up for my live show, and I'm starting to get nervous because now it's like within the month before, and I need to learn how to use it beforehand, right? And like seem professional on stage when I go to use it. So it's like, are we gonna make it, kind of thing, right? So I'm hoping. I'm still like I got some like lessons from people and stuff. So we're working our way through it, right, as we go.
yeah,
But
you'll
but
figure.
enough about me. We're gonna get into this interview about you, bro.
All
So
right.
we're gonna go right back to the very start, man. How'd you start your creative journey with being an artist?
Well, I guess it all started with poetry, man. Like I must have been about 11. Uh, I remember reading. I remember my grandmother had this old book on her nightstand, and I would grab it, and I didn't understand any of it. I mean, I could read it, but I didn't know what he was talking about. And it turns out that book was "Leaves of Grass" by Walt Whitman, and something just struck me about it. So I kept studying it and writing my own poetry, trying to imitate that, and then so that was about 11, 12, and then when I was 15, I think I was about 15 when Bone Thugs dropped East 1999 Eternal. Remember that album?
Mm, yeah,
Man, after I heard that album, it was over. That's what I wanted to do. So my poetry just turned into raps. Um, and I started doing everything I could to save money. And I got my first little computer, and I think I had Fruity Loops version 1.4 or something like
oh,
that.
nice.
This
Yeah,
is like 26 years ago. And I started making beats, and some other guys I went to school with, I found out they were rapping, so I was gonna make beats for them, and then I ended up just rapping with them. We started a little group, and
nice.
the group grew. We started doing shows around Nashville, certain areas, nothing big, but had a lot of fun.
It's a common theme that I've seen with like some of the people that we've had on the put up, where it's like you started it, and it's always classic because I think it was Insomniac or something. Everybody starts out on like these old school programs of like Cool Acid Pro or whatever, and then it
Yeah,
turned into like Fruity Loops, and now it's FL Studio today. You know what I mean?
oh,
It's like this
man.
progression of like crazy software over the 25-year journey that we've all had. You know, it's like
It's
classic pieces,
it's crazy to think that Fruity Loops has been around for over a quarter of a century.
right? And it's
Yeah,
just kind of evolved into this thing that like I don't know, producers argue over whether it's like more ethical or whatever than all the other like DAWs today, right? Like
yeah. I don't care
depending on
about
how you produce beats or whatever, right?
Yeah, I don't care about any of that. I think it's pretty cool that some producers who are FL Studio heads are actually doing things now. You're hearing about
Right.
DJ Mustard and other guys. It's pretty cool.
Excuse me. Yeah, it's like it used to almost be like this fad thing where like I remember because I was like researching, okay, what DAW should I get when I was like 15, right? And I ended up getting Pro Tools. because I was
Yeah.
like the engineer kind of guy. I wanted to get into mixing, right? So it was like I think I showed it one time on here. It's like this old school like iLock key that you had to plug in, all this stuff, right? But then other guys using like these unofficial softwares, like the loop programs and stuff, right? They were like not considered to be like as authentic or whatever as artists back then, I guess, or whatever, right? But now like some of them have surpassed anybody that could ever use Pro Tools. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
I
it's
think some
crazy.
I think something that made Fruity Loops so big was I think it's a lot more user friendly. So somebody that doesn't have musical knowledge can figure it out. You
And
know,
just kind of like blast off like loops and stuff and like be able
I,
to get into like production, right?
the more you tinker, the more you learn. And I remember trying to use Pro Tools back when I was 20 or something, and it was too much for me. I was like, this,
Yes.
I'm just gonna rap, you know.
No, so you know what? It took me like a funny story. When I first got that Pro Tools, it took me forever to get the audio interface to talk to the software so that you could get like an input working to record with, right? And I
Yeah.
had to find some obscure like named driver or something that I had to download and install, and it finally like all connected and worked. I thought I was never gonna get it to work, bro. I was literally ready to throw it all out. And I got lucky, I guess, because a lot of people, I guess, threw it out. Right? Like that's how it works. So yeah, you end up using like what you can when you first start out. And like, do you use FL Studio today?
I
Like
do.
when you start?
I was
Yeah,
actually
see,
working.
there you go. Like, and it's just probably the most natural thing that you could ever like use on a
It
daily basis, right?
is. I'm not perfect on it, but I enjoy making beats.
Right. And it's probably just feels perfect to you and all that stuff, right? And it kind of leads me into my next question of like describing your style or sound, and it kind of like shapes the sound that you make in a little way, like the DAW that you use, right?
Yeah,
And
the
like
dog.
for beat making, right?
Yeah, for beat making. But I guess if somebody was to ask me my style, that's kind of an odd question for me to answer. I think that would have to depend on who's listening, you know, because everything's subjective. And I've heard a lot of people tell me I sound like this guy or I don't sound like anybody.
I'm trying to think. Like I've heard a lot of your music. What do you sound like? Like it's hard for me. There's many different styles going on inside there, I think.
Right. But I think that stems from, you know, I think a lot of, especially in hip hop, in the rap culture, I think a lot of rappers are locked in to only rap.
Mm,
Um, there's some out there that aren't, but I think the majority they're listening to rap right now, you know, and I think that really influences the music that comes out. You know, I don't really listen to a whole lot of rap. I have certain I have certain artists I dig. You ever heard of West Side Boogie?
I have actually, I think, yeah.
Man, I'm a super fan. You know, just
Amazing.
but there's certain rappers that I like, but for the most part, I'm a metalhead all the way, all the way.
Yeah, I was surprised to learn that about you.
Yeah, I've
A
been a metalhead.
metalhead, right? Like Tool, you
Yeah,
said, and stuff, right?
I've been a metalhead since I heard Vulgar Display of Power, you know, Pantera, and that was I was young, and it's never left me.
Amazing.
But I think that does influence things, you know, what what music you're actually drawn to.
Right. And like the style that you're gonna go and create, or like the moods that you have when you go to make a beat, for example, or like
Right.
the content you're gonna decide to write about when you go and make those like lyrical parts, right? It's like definitely gonna be determined by that style that you've been hearing, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Interesting. So that's what brings such a unique sound to it. Then there you go. I like it.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah, man, that's cool. Like I can't honestly tell you any other like rappers that I know that are like heavy metal addicts too, except for you. You know what I mean? Like they're usually just like a heavy metal addict, like my son, where he's just into like playing the guitar like in drop B and stuff all the time. You know what I mean? Like,
Take, Take Nine's really big on heavy metal.
oh yeah, okay,
Mhm.
yeah, and like some of
Yeah.
those try. Okay, yo, that's wild to think about. Okay, so like what inspires your music when you go like where do you get ideas for like the projects when you go to write something?
Uh, well, I guess it would be just like any other art, you know, like painting or sculpting or whatever. I mean, you draw from the world around you. You draw from
Like
experiences.
experience. Yeah.
Like we like we were talking about White Lie, you know. a lot of his stuff when he's rapping, I feel that. I feel like he went through it, and that's why it manifested from life to paper and from paper to audio, and now we get to live that with him.
Yeah.
And that's that's kind of what I try to do. I try to draw from real experiences, and um, yeah,
No,
that's
that was
really all it
poetic
is.
what you just said, like that transitional stage of like the different stages that idea goes through to become like a full song. And that's crazy to think about. Put that out or something. Amazing, bro. Okay, so like walk us through the creative process. Like how do you actually go from idea to completion like that?
Really, it kind of gets on my nerves a little bit. It's kind of a burden because I can't really. I have a hard time focusing in the real world. My wife will be talking to me, and I can't. It's just gibberish. I don't hear her because I'm walking around with lyrics in my head, and
Just constantly thinking about it, eh?
I'm running over a line, and I'm tweaking this, and I'll have a verse in my head for a week, and I'll never write it down until finally I get maybe 8 bars or 10 bars, and I'll throw it in my phone real quick. Um, yeah, it's kind of sporadic with me. I don't try to force anything. I don't just sit down and say, okay, I'm gonna write a song. It's
Right.
just
Like I'm not like that either. When I go to write music, it's very spiritual in a way. Like it comes to me. A
yeah.
song
I
is
don't want
fully written in my head by the time I go to record it. You know what I mean?
right. Years ago, let's see, maybe 6 years ago, I put out a little EP called "The World's Last Poet," and it's only 5 tracks, but the songs that were on there, those verses were in my head for, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, they were in my head for 10 years. And
Yeah. Like, yo,
yeah,
some of the stuff that I'm putting out now is 25 years old when I wrote it.
yeah,
Like 25 years ago, I wrote that stuff.
the consumer doesn't even know that. They don't know that I
Right.
walked with that in my head for 10 years before it made it out. But I don't try to force anything. I don't think people are stupid. People are not stupid, and they can tell when something's forced. They can tell when it's authentic, and they can tell when it's not.
Yeah, and there's something spiritual almost about the right time to release that information to let people hear it too, right? Like why did you wait 10, 15 years? What made you
Well,
wait?
well, like I said, I'm almost 42, and I started rapping, taking it serious when I was 15, 16, 17, around that area. Um, but then when I was 20 something, I had my first kid, and music just wasn't paying the bills. So I felt like I had to step away, and I focused on my job. And then the next kid came, and the next kid came. And one day I'm sitting at the house a few years ago, and my brother calls me. He says he sees all these shitty little rappers on Facebook, and he's like, "Man, you got to get back into it." So
Oh, so
I
you
was
like
like,
kind of took a hiatus in a way?
"Yeah." I took about a 15-year hiatus,
Okay, damn, that's a while.
and I'm
Well, I'm
telling
glad to
you,
have you back, bro. Thank you.
yeah,
Thanks for
I'm
coming
glad.
back.
I'm telling you, uh, as soon as I started writing again, I felt like me again. Like I didn't feel like myself for a long time.
Hmm, that's such an interesting idea to think about. Like,
Yeah,
there's a part of you like you were just missing that you couldn't like do during that time period or something, right?
exactly what it felt like. It felt like I was missing my arm for a long time.
Yeah, that's wild to think about. Yeah. Okay. Well, at least you're back now, right?
Yeah, I
And you get
love
to
it.
feel that again, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's almost like brand new to me again. I had that fire in my belly, and it took me back to being 15 again. So
Like,
it's cool.
yeah,
Cool.
it's like, dude, that's like part of your story that you can like feel through your art then when you release that stuff. You know what I mean? Because I know there's stuff coming up, and it's yeah, I feel like we're gonna hear some of that. You know?
Yeah, hopefully when people hear it, they feel something like I felt when I wrote it.
Yeah,
You know?
that's amazing. Well, actually, we're gonna hear one right now.
All
I
right.
think we're gonna go to a music break, and we're gonna hear the track "Wide Awake." Preface the track, bro. Tell us about this track and like the process you went through to make it and everything.
Well, I hooked up with a producer that I found online, and he's in the UK, Ali. and he's a really good guy, and he worked really hard on those beats for me. And when I heard that beat, when I heard the beat for Wide Awake, I said, "This is the title track right here. I don't know what it's going to be about, but this beat is the title track. This is the whole vibe that
The
I
one
wanted."
of the album or whatever, right?
And then when I wrote that song, I come up with the concept one day driving to work, and it was one of those things where I had it in my head for a day or two, and then I put it down. And as soon as that was done, I said, "Well, that's the name of the album right there. That's it."
Nice. It just worked out that way.
Worked out.
Beautiful. All right, well, we're gonna go in here right now. Roll it.
Wide awake and I manifest. I'm trying hard to try my best. I gave it all, man, there's nothing left. Take my soul, take my breath. There's a hole here inside my chest. I think I'll turn it to a robin's nest. Spread my wings and I'm flying west. Spread my wings, I'm flying west. Wide awake and I manifest. I'm trying hard to try my best. I gave it all, man, there's nothing left. Take my soul, take my breath. There's a hole here inside my chest. I think I'll turn it to a robin's nest. Spread my wings and I'm flying west. Spread my wings, I'm flying west. Maybe this is destiny testing me. I don't know, but there's a flutter in my soul. It's affecting me to the point I can barely sleep. I'm wide awake for the first time. It's been a long time since I felt at home in my skin. The zone that I'm in, alone with my pen. I'm on it again, too old to pretend. There's nothing stopping me. 5 kids and a wife, work 50 hours. I'm awfully tired. Still a part of me's fired up. Confidence inflated and it's the tire pump. Can never rest. Something inside of me is possessed and I can't seem to shake it. I can't explain it. All my life I've been waiting to fly. Ruffled feathers, never thought I'd ever survive. The darkest part of me that only wanted to die. But now I lift my head to the sky. Wide awake and I manifest. I'm trying hard to try my best. I gave it all, man, there's nothing left. Take my soul, take my breath. There's a hole here inside my chest. I think I'll turn it to a robin's nest. Spread my wings and I'm flying west. Spread my wings, I'm flying west. Wide awake and I manifest. I'm trying hard to try my best. I gave it all, man, there's nothing left. Take my soul, take my breath. There's a hole here inside my chest. I think I'll turn it to a robin's nest. Spread my wings and I'm flying west. Spread my wings, I'm flying west. Wide awake and I manifest. My heart feels different. It's something that I didn't expect. Lived a life for so long, blind for so long. Out of my mind, I was high for so long. I'm saying so long and I'm waving goodbye to everything I thought that I knew. It's like I've never touched the world before, and everything seems foreign. Everybody's like, what happened to you? I don't know. Maybe the acid showed me something I needed to see, like who I needed to be. Or maybe I'm just talking nonsense, too much to conceive. Either way, it's up to you what you believe. I'm on the breeze, like a leaf lifting off. The wind beneath me is keeping me aloft. Look at me, floating free above it all. If it's a dream, please wake me up before I fall. Wide awake and I manifest. I'm trying hard to try my best. I gave it all, man, there's nothing left. Take my soul, take my breath. There's a hole here inside my chest. I think I'll turn it to a robin's nest. Spread my wings and I'm flying west. Spread my wings, I'm flying west. Wide awake and I manifest. I'm trying hard to try my best. I gave it all, man, there's nothing left. Take my soul, take my breath. There's a hole here inside my chest. I think I'll turn it to a robin's nest. Spread my wings and I'm flying west. Spread my wings, I'm flying west.
Welcome back to the Put Up, everybody. I'm A.K.A. the Wizard, and we have Waves the Rapper with us this afternoon. And what you heard was his track, Wide Awake, which is actually the title track from the album, right? Real quick, like, share, and subscribe if you're just joining us down below. And we're going to hop back into the interview here, bro. But first, we're going to talk about this track a little bit because one afternoon, or was it, I think it was like early, like late morning, early afternoon, something like that. I get a call from Waves the Rapper, and he's asking me about getting sound effects put into this track that you just heard there. So let's talk about that for a minute, bro.
Yeah. Well, you know, in the chorus, it talks about how I have a hole in my chest. I think I'll turn it to a robin's nest. So I just wanted to get some birds in there. So I'm on YouTube trying to steal sounds, and I'm, you know, I'm putting them in FL Studio. I'm trying to tweak it and EQ it, and it just sounded terrible. So I said, I bet I know who could help me. So I hit up the Wizard, and dude set me right, man. I think it set the whole track off, in my opinion.
I'm like, I didn't even know you had my number. Like, I'm not even sure where you got my number. I'm sure it's online places if somebody really needs to get a hold of me. You know what I mean?
I think I hit you up on Twitter.
Yeah, it was like at some point, right? I'm like pretty sure this, but I just had forgot about it or whatever. And I'm just like working one day, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait, yo, Waves, what the hell is up, bro? You know, like, yeah, it was actually like refreshing for me to just get this random call and then be able to help you like that, you know?
Yeah, man.
Perfect.
And
I think it turned out great.
Oh, you had it back to me the next day, so
I mean, we tried to, right? If we can, we try and get everything done like ASAP that we always ever do, just so that the idea is there, and in the moment we capture everything we need to, right? Like that's the key.
So thanks for that.
Yeah, and I think it turned out great. Like I heard the final product after, I was like, damn, that's perfect. You know?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna hop back into the interview. Talk about challenges. What's been the hardest thing so far in your career that you've had to overcome?
Honestly, the hardest thing that I've had to overcome is probably myself. Is trying to be comfortable in my own skin. I think that was really hard for me. I had a hard time just trying to, you know, worrying about what everybody thought about me, worrying about did I fit in with this clique, or you know,
man, I
maybe
still feel that way. Literally to this day, I still feel that way sometimes.
Sometimes, but it's really it's going to sound goofy when I tell you this, especially if you've never done it. But what really helped me and broke me out of my shell was LSD. I'm not going to lie.
Damn.
I had a really wild acid trip one day, and it changed everything about me, man. I'm telling you.
Okay.
And people that know me will tell you that too. Like something clicked, something changed. I'm not the same dude.
That's amazing. How? Like what?
Well, I've always been a loner. Like I've never really wanted to be around other people. And one day I had this really weird acid trip where it got really heavy. And have you ever done acid?
Man, I tried it one time when I was like a teenager. I think it was blotted wrong or something. I don't know if we tried acid or not.
Well,
could have. You know what I mean? We were so screwed up back then, bro. I don't even know if we were coming or going. Really.
Well,
but not like officially, like to like sit there and try acid. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, I never thought I would try it. I was older when I tried it,
Yeah, that's
but
wild. Think about
but
it.
but I had a trip. I had a trip one day, and it got really heavy on me, and I wasn't having a good time. And I remember all of a sudden I had this urge or this need. I would have sold my soul to the devil if some strange dude would have come walking out of the woods tripping acid, and we locked eyes, and I was like, bro, and he was like, dude, you know, I needed that. And it was the first time in my life that I actually felt the need for another person. Does that make sense?
Ah,
And
interesting. Yeah, like in the weirdest fucking way ever.
oh man, it's weird to even talk about, but ever since then, I've learned to appreciate other people, and
Huh. Because you like at that moment in time needed that motherfucker, right?
I
Like,
did, and I've never
huh.
actually needed somebody before. I've always just been independent and a loner, and I don't know, man. It just kind of really changed a lot about me. Like after that, I don't even smoke weed no more, man. Uh,
Wow.
I
Okay.
yeah, I drink a few beers, but other than that, I'm sober. I don't,
That was amazing.
and
Congrats.
I contribute to
Honestly.
that, man. It rewired something for me.
What a wild story to to
Yeah.
share on the put up even. I feel like I got some weird exclusive like you know what I mean? Like a release of information or some shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
I'm
Okay, so
on.
like on the flip side, like overcoming yourself and like changing as a human was like the hardest thing to achieve. What's been like the biggest success that you've had?
Biggest success. Uh, I don't know. There's a lot of little things. Years ago, I'm sure
That's
you've
real.
had stores in Canada like Media Play, Best Buy, things like that.
Yeah.
Well, they used to have these free magazines that you had when you walked in. You see, you walk in the double doors, and there's these free magazines, and one of them was called Concrete Magazine, and we did a compilation for them years ago. This is 20 plus years ago, but
Man.
we got contacted to do a compilation album for that free magazine, and 3 6 Mafia was on there. Jelly Roll
Interesting.
Stack was on
Jelly
there.
roll back then too. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. Back when he rapped. Um,
Yeah, see,
but
we didn't hear about him up in Canada until like last year, like a couple of years ago when he started doing the fentanyl thing.
check out
Like
check
that
out.
thing with the Congress or whatever.
See if you can find his album. It's called "Gambling on a White Boy" Volume 2.
Okay.
See if you can
Write it
find it.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah, interesting.
Jelly Roll's dope. I really, I'm proud of him, man. He really did come from nothing. So I don't know if anybody really understands that, but he really did. So
Yeah, and I'm hoping that like all of the artists that came from nothing end up with that success that they deserve. You know what I mean?
yeah, I do
That's
too.
part
I
of why
think
I'm doing this. Like the whole part of like the put up is like to try and help that whole process take place, right? Like,
right.
yeah, it's amazing to hear these stories, bro. So good. Okay, so like we're gonna switch gears here and get a little technical for a moment.
Right.
Let's talk about like how you record. Like, what tools and techniques do you use to bring your ideas to life? Do you like record at home, or do you go to a studio, or like how does that work?
I actually record at my buddy Jay's house. I record in his bedroom.
Cool.
Uh, yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good with it. He throws a preset on there. He EQs it. We tweak it on the spot, one and done. We
Use like
can.
a specific mic or something that he has, like a rig
I
kind of
I
thing.
don't even
Like,
know what kind of mic he uses. I have a Bluebird. I don't know what model, but
okay,
I have a Bluebird.
yeah, like
But
a blue mic. I think I gave away a couple of those a few years ago with like a Sennheiser deal that I was doing.
yeah,
Yeah, we give away gear randomly too. I don't know.
it's a pretty decent mic, but I'm not.
Yeah, they were pretty decent, like $300 or $400 mic, something like
Yeah,
that.
but
Okay.
I'm not real tech savvy. I couldn't get my vocals sounding right. I just write. So
So then your buddy Jay was just like a good idea then, just like
yeah,
to help the whole process out. Then yeah.
Jay's a G man. He's a G. He really helps me. And the way we operate, because I'm so prepared. I go in ready, and we can we can get 4 tracks done in an hour, and I'm talking done done.
Damn.
You know.
And you're putting like layers on that and the whole works, all that stuff, right? Like,
Yeah, I'll usually do two full. Oh, I'll wrap the verse. I'll
sounds
overlay
like
it.
something else I know.
I'll overlay the verse one more time, and then we'll layer the dubs, the ad libs.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know, I look at this recipe like every day when I mix with white lie, right? It changes up once in a while, but like that's almost like the standard hip hop recipe for a vocal, I guess, if you want to call it that.
I
Like a
remember.
regular main, a dub underneath that, two sides, some ad libs in the middle, moving around something, right? Like
I remember 25 years ago when we were rapping, we would just stack it. So we would record the track, duplicate it, and stack it, and
right.
never realized how horrible that sounded.
You're just getting phases and bad things. Yeah.
Yeah. You need those different angles on the mic. You need those different
Yeah, and it's about changing. This is part of it. Like we could just talk about this to help all rappers watching, right? It's like changing the vocal tone to like a more aggressive or a softer, like doing it different ways when you do these layers, right? That's all part of like the game here.
yeah, or even how close you are to the mic.
Right.
Even backing up 3 feet will change a lot.
Yeah, so using all these little techniques and like making it all mixed up, this is what creates like the excitement and the difference inside of like the hip hop vocals when you hear like the professional sounding stuff, right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, when I hear your stuff, it's like top quality stuff, just like what we're doing over here, bro. You know what I mean?
Take that. I'll let Jay know.
Yeah, it's like it's some banging stuff, bro. And I guess he mixes and masters it too, right? Like
Well,
finishes it for you and stuff.
yeah, I've never actually paid to have a track mastered before.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I
I've
mean,
never.
I wouldn't even do it for you usually if it's like coming third party. I have guys for mastering. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
I'll master stuff that I mix, but I don't typically do mastering as like a job because I feel like there's still another tier above me that can do stuff in bigger.
right.
It's more about it's not so much like a skill level thing as like the size of room you're in, how close that is to accurate for like making mastering, right? And
Right,
it's like how accurate is your monitoring system. So when I'm in a room this size, you're never going to be able to make a place like this perfect, right? So
right.
it got perfect enough for mixing, but that final little bit you can't really hear inside of the room here, right?
Yeah,
So like when it goes to that $1 million studio to get the final little mastering thing, they can hear stuff that I can't, right? And they're able to just like fine tune it that little bit more. So I still like there's that other tier, right?
yeah. So that's the bad part about being independent. I love being independent. I don't really want to sign a record deal. I mean, if something fell in my
I
lap,
don't either. I
you know,
literally
if
don't.
it fell in my lap and I was like, I got to do this, then maybe. But I enjoy I enjoy doing me, and but it is kind of hard when you're on a budget and I have to worry about, well, we got rent this month. I can't
Yeah.
afford. I
Five
can't afford.
kids. You got five
Yeah,
kids, bro.
right. So and I haven't been able to be in a position where I can justify spending $2,000, $4,000 to get an album mastered.
Right.
So
Yeah,
so
like
we
I
just
got a guy that can do it. So like I don't want to mention prices in case, but you know what
yeah
I mean? The
yeah
average price I think for the last album was about $1,100, $1,200 for 17 tracks. The
that's
deal was
not
I
bad.
think 150 and then 50, 50, 50, 50, 50 after that
Yeah,
kind of
that's not
thing.
bad. That's not
Right. It's a
bad.
very decent kind of rate, but do you have $2,000 laying around? You know what I mean? That's what we come up against at the end of every album that we ever make, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like even we do have the albums that we make with White Lie mastered professionally like that, but then I master a lot of other stuff and I try and match it to that when we do singles and stuff like that, right? It's just like you try and make it work however you have to with the budgets that you have, right? Like
Right.
just
It's
part of the game, bro.
but that's kind of what I enjoy. I enjoy the grassroots of it. I enjoy it.
Anarchy of it all, you know?
Yeah, when music was fun,
Remember, guys, he likes heavy metal too, right? Like this is
Yeah,
wild side to him too.
like like when you go back and listen to old Pantera albums,
Right. There's something visceral, or there's something,
yeah,
I don't know, to the core of humanity type.
yeah. There's something carnal about it. Like it's not perfect. It sounds like you're in a garage, but the motherfuckers are rocking, and I love it.
Right.
You know.
Okay, so one more question before we go to the music break here. Do you take any kind of unique approach that other artists might not consider when you go to make your music?
You know, I've thought about this. The only thing that I can think of that I do that I've noticed a lot of other rappers around me that I've been around don't do is if I ever feel stuck, like if I'm stuck on a song and I'm getting agitated, like I'm running over this one line and I can't get it right, I'll walk away and I'll go listen to something completely different. I'm talking
Like classical, like symphony music or something,
yeah,
you know?
I'm talking like traditional Chinese music. I'm talking Irish pub music, drinking Irish drinking tunes. Just
Just
something off.
get out of there
Yes,
mentally.
something
Okay.
to move me out of that space. And it seems like when I do that and I walk back, everything just pours out. You know.
It kind of unlocks whatever was stuck or whatever, right?
Mm.
Interesting.
But what works for me may not work for everybody else. Some people go smoke a blunt. You know. But, you know.
I might sometimes I might do that to fix it, you know what I'm saying? Like I like
Everybody has their tricks.
it. Yeah, you know what? That's why I asked the question, because like maybe I don't know. Maybe somebody watching, they have the same issue, and like they can take the same approach or try out different things as go and
Right.
watch the other put ups and then figure out different approaches from different people, right?
The only real advice I could ever give anybody is to never ever box yourself in. I don't care what genre of music you're doing. If you're making country music, rock, hip hop, R&B, if that's all you listen to, if you're an R&B artist and all you listen to is R&B, you're failing yourself.
Mm.
You know,
You got to get perspective, right?
yeah, if you're a metalhead and all you listen to is Pantera, you're failing. Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
you gotta have your mind open to the whole picture of life, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Just part of the game.
there's so much good music out there, man, and it's everywhere.
Right. And my wife actually, she's like an EDM addict, right? And she knows thousands of names in that space, right? And it's just
Yeah,
like these people have millions of monthly listeners on Spotify. I was just in shock a little bit when I was like seeing it, right? But
yeah.
it's like yeah, there's so much good music out there, and she like is like a curator almost on there, like a playlist or whatever. I don't understand it, but yeah, she just like show me all this music. I'm like, wow, that is actually pretty good, right? Like I don't even like EDM, and I like that stuff.
Yeah. I don't know whatever happened to my little iPod I had years ago, but I
Oh
had
yeah,
I'm
yo,
I'm telling you
hold on
3,000.
for the camera. Here you go. There's one.
That's what I that's what I had. And
Perfect.
it would go from Tech 9 to System of a Down to Nas.
Yes. Oh my gosh, if I could turn that on right now, I think I could probably show you that same list of stuff. That's amazing, bro. Thank you for
Can
that.
can I ask you a question?
Yeah, for sure.
I ask this to almost everybody I meet.
Okay.
What is the first song you ever remember hearing? I'm not talking about a nursery rhyme. I'm talking about a radio song or whatever. How
Oh
young you?
man.
What song do you remember?
It's gotta be like this, like Obla Di Obla Da, Life Goes On. You know that song?
Say it again.
It's like Obla Di Obla Da, Life Goes On, yeah. Sha na na. Is it called Sha na na or something like that?
I'll have to look that up. I don't know.
But my dad used to like drive around when I was super young. That's like the first song I think I can ever remember.
That's
He'd
how I
play
know.
like oldies 1090 like AM radio in the van. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's how I know you're a music head because you can remember the very first song you ever heard.
Yeah, that's wild, man.
Mine, the first song I can remember was a band called UB40. You ever heard of them?
So I got like a music drop on the first PC I ever had made by like this Sean guy at a church. And he dropped like 5 gigabytes of music on there just as like MP3s that I guess he had ripped at the time. I was too young to even understand what downloading music was at that time, right? and like he was like computer genius, so he dropped like a UB40 track on there with like Enya and all these other random old school names. You know what I mean?
Like red wine.
Yeah, it's like all this classic stuff.
That's the first song I remember hearing.
That's a pretty good song for a first song ever, actually.
Yeah, man, that's an 80s.
Well, actually, we're gonna hear your second song, bro. It's called Too Late. Tell us about this song before we go to it.
Well, it's kind of me on my comeback, man, and
okay,
kind of telling myself it's not too late. You know, I'm almost 42. I'm on the downhill, but it's not too fucking late, man.
I don't know, man. Maybe with like med beds coming in, maybe we can like de-age or something coming up in the next few years. I don't know. Let's see what happens, bro.
The only time it's too late is when you quit. So
there you go. See, but that's perfect. I think we should roll it.
To express myself. Let me catch my breath. Never thought this life would affect my health. Made peace with the devil, I expect my death. I've accepted it, yeah. In a strange way, I guess this is my reckoning. Regret on my heart that I snuffed out the spark. I'm trying to get it back, but it's all to my detriment. No going back now, don't back down. Can't change the past, that's a fact. But I'm feeling like a flame when I'm running up a track. No chicken in the game, trying to turn it to a cash cow. Did I ever lose sight of it? Should've kept grinding. Knew I had to fight for it, lost in the dark on the long road. Looking for a spark or a soft glow that can shine a light on it. Never mind, gotta look to the future with a better mind. Stay away from negativity and realign. When you walk in the path, you gotta read the sign. Find a brand new lane, try to redesign. Nothing's ever the same, but there's another side. Ain't afraid to knuckle up with the hands of time. See, I realize now that it's never too late, that the chance is mine, yeah. I'ma take it, fuck being patient. Can't settle down, I'm feeling too anxious. Face it, I was made for this. Putting in the work, I strain for this. Do it till it hurts, feel the pain in this. Never go to church, but I pray for this. Wanna put the flame on me, but they aim to miss. Trying to stop me now, that's a major release. To me, to me, to me, oh yeah. It ain't too late for me, for me, for me, oh yeah. Can you relate to me, to me, to me, oh yeah. It ain't too late for me, nah. It ain't too late for me, nah. Can you relate to me, to me, to me, oh yeah. It ain't too late for me, for me, for me, oh yeah. Can you relate to me, to me, to me, oh yeah. It ain't too late for me, nah. It ain't too late for me, nah. It ain't too late for me. See me in the major leagues. Ball so hard, probably break your knees. Put me up there with the greats. Talk is cheap, but the hate is free. I can't tell you what it is, but I tell you what it ain't. First of all, it ain't fake. Look, pay attention, peep game. I'ma be the reason you train. Wait, wait, wait. Got another rhyme scheme, shine so bright, I be looking like a light beam. Ali brought heat with the beat. Turn it up, let it rumble in the street. Crumbling, my rhyme so humbling. Prime time, I fly by bumping it. Might die, kick drum smothering. London shit, got the UK loving it. Ooh, tell them all move. Look what I do, we do not lose. Hey, hey, show and I prove. Word to my dude, all of my groove. Hey, hey, follow my crew, swallow my truth. This is my booth. Hey, hey, I'm in the mood, chomping I chew. Where is my food? Hey, hey, give it up smooth, go get a clue. Thought that you knew. Hey, hey, old school, I am not new, I am improved. Hey, hey, fight till I'm bruised, black and I'm blue, I'm staying true. Hey, hey, it ain't too late for me, but it may be too late for you. Can you relate to me, to me, to me? Oh yeah, it ain't too late for me, for me, for me. Oh yeah, can you relate to me, to me, to me? Oh yeah, it ain't too late for me, nah. It ain't too late for me, nah. Can you relate to me, to me, to me? Oh yeah, it ain't too late for me, for me, for me. Oh yeah, can you relate to me, to me, to me? Oh yeah, it ain't too late for me, nah. It ain't too late for me, nah. Can you relate to me, to me, to me? Oh yeah, it ain't too late for me, for me, for me. Oh
Welcome back to the Put Up, everybody. I'm A.K.A. the Wizard, and we have Waves the rapper in the hot seat this afternoon. Oh, the song you just heard was Too Late. Say another little word about that track, real quick, bro.
Well, that song was really just a song to myself, and trying to throw it out in the ether and see if anybody relates to me. About maybe you feel like it's too late. Maybe you feel like you walked away from a dream and you may never get it back. And
Hmm.
kind of just knocking some sense into myself and being stubborn about it. It's not too late. It's
Yeah, I like what you said just before the song, too. It's like, if you don't give up, it wasn't too late, right? Like something like that.
you you
Amazing.
you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, man.
Yeah. And if you just keep going, you can't fail, right? Like,
And
how do
and,
you fail if you do it again?
and I
That's
think
my mantra.
I think I heard Jim Carrey one time. I think it was Jim Carrey said you can fail at something you can fail at doing something you hate, so you might as well do something you love.
Right.
You know,
It's true. Okay, so we're gonna get back into the interview with a little like relation question. How do you connect with everybody, with the audience? How do you make your art relatable to them? It's the whole thing of like an experience, right? Like we know that you write a song, it's always almost based on experience type thing, right? But then it's like, how do you make that next step of getting that to relate to the person listening?
I don't know. I don't know if I can really worry about that because everybody lot everything is subjective and everybody has a different perspective. And if you meet a million people in your life, then you've lived a million different lives because no person is ever going to see you the same as the other person. You know what I mean?
Right. It's
um,
like when you have a hater of your art or whatever, you know that there's gonna be another person that is completely opposite of them that loves it. You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's just
Actually,
inevitable.
I enjoy it when somebody doesn't like my music. Is that weird? Like,
No, maybe it's like, I don't know, intriguing to me. Tell me more.
yeah, I like it when somebody doesn't like my music because if you pay attention, any artist that you ever loved, they were a divisional artist. Some people hated them, some people loved
Hmm,
them. Look at Nickelback.
interesting. Yeah,
Look at
yeah, and maybe like why you hate somebody is because they're being too real and saying something that irks you, right? Like,
and at the end of the day, all I can really worry about is being authentic and being myself. And if one person feels it, then I did my job.
that's amazing. Okay, and then what do you hope people take away from it? Like, you want to change their life with your music? Like, what's the point of it all at the end of the day?
Uh, the point of it all was to keep me from going crazy. Really, I just make music because I don't know how not to make music. Um,
Okay.
I don't
Right, like
understand.
you said, you were doing it from a young age, right? Like,
Yeah, I don't. I remember a time in my life when music wasn't a huge part of it, and when music isn't around me, I don't feel right.
amen.
And I just want to feel right. I just want to feel right. I don't care if anybody ever hears my music. I just want to feel right. And when I'm making music, I feel right. I feel like me.
You're letting out like whatever that energy is that you got to get off of you, or and not off of you. It's not like you're trying to get away from it or something. It's just like you got to get it out to like feel it again or something,
Right.
in
Right.
different ways, right?
Right.
Cool. And then that is actually like the takeaway that somebody is going to naturally feel through the art when they consume it. It's like when you give that energy, they get it. You know what I mean? It's like a free thing for them.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that's the takeaway. I put a lot of effort into what I do, and I'm not arrogant. I'm not the best, and I'm not trying to be the best. I just want to be. I just want to make sure that I'm always authentic. That's all. That's all I
Right.
really. I don't want to make a song just because I think it might get me a bunch of hits on TikTok or whatever. I want to. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But um, I just want to make. I just want to make music that I want to make, and I feel like if something ever happens, I will be more fulfilled that way.
Right. And then like it's a classic thing. Like some people's music that doesn't even get recognition while they're still alive. You know what I mean? Like it's the craziest thing to think about.
Think about all the artists out there that you'll never hear of. Think of all the
Right.
dope, the dope artists, the bands that you'll never know, and
The
and
hours
all
spent in the studios, on the mics, on the gear, buying all that, going to all the stores, all that stuff that we do, right? Like all the other artists are doing that same thing every day, just like us.
Yeah.
And we will never even know who they are. It's crazy to think about, right?
Yeah. There's so many people out there that are just, I mean, you think of your favorite band or your favorite singer, there's somebody out there that blows them out of the water and you don't know who they are. And I hope one day I do know who they are. I hope one day they put out an album and I stumble on it.
Yeah, for real. Like try and find some of that stuff again, right? Okay, so like what projects are you currently working on? Like what's next for you?
Well, I actually have a whole nother album written, ready to record. I'm
Damn.
just,
Okay.
yeah, I'm just trying to find time to get it done. I have to, I work full time and I got all these
Right.
kids, and so I got to schedule all that. But yeah, it's written and ready.
Nice.
Junior Escobar is producing that one, and
Nice. Okay.
he's really dope, man. I really like him. He's a vibe, and but even after this, I'm already working on another one. So the lyrics don't stop. They're it's just a constant circus up here.
Let me ask you, do you have like pages and pages and pages of lyrics written somewhere?
I used to. I
Because
used
I
to.
know like every lyricist I've ever met, they pull out their phone and I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like just like pages and pages, right? Like,
Yeah, they're on my phone now, but they used to be literal pages. I used to have books, but it's not really feasible for me anymore to roll around with a pen and pad. So I usually just work on them in my head until I feel like I'm in a good spot, and if I don't want to forget it, I throw it in my phone.
nice.
Yeah.
And then you just have pages in your phone now, right?
Yep.
It's
Ready to
beautiful
roll.
thing. No,
But
it's kind of like a rite of passage or a stamp of an artist or something like that. You know what I mean? Like you just know you're one if you see that in their phone.
that's not counting all the poetry. I mean,
That's
I've
what I'm
won.
saying. Like there's probably millions of words. I'm not even being like that's literally millions of words, right?
I've heard people tell me this was cool. I wish it was cool when I was a kid, but I was the loser that walked around with a thesaurus in his backpack. You know, um, I'm serious. I did, and I would
And
hear
now
a
you
word.
just memorize it. You can just tell
Yes,
every other word for every other word now,
I,
right?
I, I love. I've always had a passion for words, and if I heard something that I didn't know what it meant, I looked it up immediately, and I had to know what it meant. And
I do that still to this day. Actually,
yeah,
if I don't know a word, I'll just like quickly Google it and be like, what the hell is that word? Right. And I'm just like trying to like make an encyclopedia up there over time or
Google Google makes it a lot easier now.
right. It's always there. It's ready. You know, if it doesn't have the answer, go to Chat GPT. It's got more to search through, you know.
I've never used that.
Try it out, man. You gotta try it out.
Is it free?
Yeah, you can do like a free tier type thing, ask it a few questions a day or something, I think. Yeah. It's pretty powerful actually. And then you have Grok on like X, I think, right? Like the basic version just like built in or whatever too.
Oh,
It's
really?
kind of the same idea, yeah. Like right on the middle on I don't know, it's some weird icon you can just like click on X while you're on there.
I wonder if
Try
it
it
could,
out sometime. Ask it something. I don't know.
I wonder if I could put out I wonder if I could have it write a song and me just record it.
Yeah, but there's a bad doo-doo with that whole thing right now.
Is there? No,
Yeah, there's like a gray market going on with the whole AI thing right now.
it's almost like a control experiment. I want to see if it's dope or not.
Yeah, like try it out, I guess. Yeah. See if
Or
they
if
can make something like that, right?
yeah.
But yeah, I got buddies that are like just like fully dove into that shit, and they're making 200 songs a week, and I'm just like, what?
Oh
I don't
my
even
god.
understand it. It's so far past me, dude. I don't know. They're
Well,
making full songs that weren't written by anybody.
what's the
Just like,
end game of that though? Like, who owns copyrights on that?
well, and actually, I went to all those. Like, we had a whole little episode, I think, with Insomniac's interview where we went over this, and it's like Suno AI, for example, the one that everybody seems to be using. If you go to their like terms and conditions, they own all the copyrights of everything that's generated. They own a right to license your music you upload to it to feed it with data. That's what it says, right?
Oh,
So if you put your music up there, that's your copyright. They kind of own a license to use that now on that network. So there's like I don't know what the end game with all of this is. Is it a data stealing mechanism? I don't get it, man. You know,
There's something going on. I won't
right?
be.
And I don't feel right about it. Something fishy about it. With the whole thing going on with all of that stuff, and I'm just trying to stay away from it for now. It's a huge concern for everybody right now, though. Like some people are excited for it, other people hate it. You know. Yeah, wild to think about, man.
Be the ultimate ghostwriter.
Yeah, and I think that's what people are worried about. It's like obsolescence of the art because of something automatic just kind of coming in that can do it better. I don't know. Is there something inauthentic about it when it's made? Everything I've heard kind of like my thing with it is like if I want to go see them live, how do I? Because nobody's there. There's no real person that generated it, right?
But you've seen the 3D projected Tupac shows and the
Right,
stuff.
like maybe they can do it and just like have a fake person all together perform it too, and you just won't even know, right?
No.
Your favorite artist might not even be real at this point. I'm just saying.
Why not, man?
Yeah, it's like some weird sci-fi type stuff to think about, right, on a daily basis for us humans. It's crazy right now.
Like, think about that. What if I found out that Tech 9 wasn't even real?
That's what I mean, right? Like it was a computer generated 3 AI thing, like everything you've ever seen. And it's like the music was created by a computer. It wasn't even right. Like
I would lose my mind if I found out that Tech 9
I would maybe lose my mind. Yeah. Like
wow.
Yeah, so like that's the state we're in right now, and that's why everybody has such a polarizing opinion of like AI right now, is because you might lose your mind if you find out some things have been made by AI that you thought were real, right? Like, yeah. Interesting days we live in, folks. That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the most important part of the entire interview now, you ready for this?
Let's go.
Where do people find you?
Everywhere.
Do you have a website? You're on social, obviously, right?
I don't have a website. I think me and you talked about that earlier.
Yeah, we're gonna do something big here in the next little bit. It's gonna be exclusive to put up people at first, I believe. We were talking about that, and there's just like so much interest, even with people that I've interviewed here, just like yourself. So it's we're probably gonna run like a masterclass type thing privately with you guys first. Yeah. And see if we can set everybody up that needs to be set up, and then take it public after that. So
I feel like a website would be a really, really good tool, though. But it'd almost be like cutting out the middleman, because I don't know. I mean, you've seen the stream numbers. Streaming, we make no money.
It's not where it's at.
I barely make enough to pay for my streaming service with my stream. So,
no, and then I was shocked though, because when my wife showed me those people with like million monthly listeners, they're getting a million streams a month, bro.
Yeah.
Right? Is that real people? Like I don't even know how that works. I'm just like in shock when that happens. You know what I mean? So I'm like, those guys must be making a couple $1,000s a month then, I would assume, right? At 1 million views.
Well, I know I had a buddy I made music with for a lot of years. He charted. He had a song that charted, and I think he hit 3 million streams. I could be wrong about that. Maybe 30 million. But he barely saw $3,000 for that. That's a lot of streams.
It is a lot of. I believe I would think that that would be like 3 million then, somewhere around $1,000 for 1 million streams. I believe somewhere in that area, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, that I don't believe that's where the industry is at. I think the direct-to-consumer model that we started here, with everything that, like you can hear that as a buzz term everywhere you look right now, right? The direct-to-consumer model is having a website with your own merch on there. You're gonna have a song download right on there, kind of like Bandcamp, right? But you own the actual like space that you're gonna use, right?
Yeah. And maybe I'm just old school. Maybe I'm getting old, but there's just something. There's a different feeling about having something tangible that you can hold, like a CD. You know, there's something tangible about that.
Yeah, you know what? My daughter just bought a CD. She comes out to me the other day. She's like, "Dad, where's our CD player?" I'm like, "Darling, they started taking that out of electronics 15 years ago. What are you talking about?" Right? Like, okay, I was like, okay, you can have one. It's in like the old Xbox One Plus. You know, like you can go and try the CD out in this thing. Oh, nice. Here we go.
Yeah, they're around now. But yeah, I actually pressed up hard copies. Hey, boys. I actually pressed up hard copies of my last album, and I made more money selling hard copies. And I had people that looked at
Right.
those CDs like they didn't know what they were.
Oh my gosh, this is the cutest thing that could ever happen on the put up right here.
This is the youngest one. This is. I'll give you $100 if you guess his name.
What's that?
I'll give you $100 if you guess his name.
Oh man, don't make me do it. I don't know. Oh, fuck.
I got to name him.
Oh, I don't know, man.
His name is Arson Riot.
Yeah, how would I ever know that?
You wouldn't have. That's why I give you money, bro.
Arson Riot.
Arson Riot.
Come on. Wow. Okay. You know what? That's kind of like, are you gonna be famous then, Waves? Because you know how like the famous movie stars, they always got these crazy whacked out names for like their kids.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like you chose that one. It's like you're bound to be like that. You know what I mean? It's just like destiny. I love it. I've never heard of a name like that, but it's so like knowing that you come from like the heavy metal background, you can totally see it. I love it. No, it's like it's almost like you got to be a more bold human to do something like that too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I respect it. I like it. Because we were like, when we named our kids, we were like, okay, what was like the most popular boy's name this year? You know what I mean? Like that, like, it's just like so petty. I feel petty about me.
Yeah. Well, when you're on your fifth kid, you just don't give a shit no more.
Yeah, you just like get it over with. We need a name. Somebody give us
Just name him.
Okay, so what, like the final thing, we can find you everywhere. You're on social media on X. That's where I found you, right?
On X.
You're on Instagram. I think you're everywhere that I've ever seen, right? Like
Spotify, Facebook.
look up Waves the Rapper. You're gonna find him. There's only one like him. That's it, right?
That's it.
Well, man, it's been a great interview. That concludes the interview. Thank you for coming on here today. Honestly. Yeah, it's been a great time, man. Just before we go, everybody like, comment, and share down below. And make sure you go back and watch some of the other ones if you're with us today, because there's some other artists just like Waves that is doing the same thing. And we're all out here together. And also at the bottom of the sign-up sheet, if you're interested in being on the show like Waves is today, you can get yourself a spot down below. So, yeah, man, thanks for coming today. And everybody else have a great afternoon. Cheers.
Thanks, brother.